Get it, Tab?
I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular council meeting for November the 14th. The invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Beth Rudisell.
Dear Heavenly Gracious Father, we thank you for today, that we're able to come together and conduct town business. Lord, we pray for this town as we go into with a new council and move forward, that you continue to bless us and give us guidance and knowledge to make the right decisions. Lord, I pray for those that are serving in our armed forces. Be with them, protect them. Lift up a special prayer for Israel, that you'll continue to watch over them. We know you know the outcome before it ever even happens, but Lord, it's hard to watch. I pray that you'll protect those. We pray that you will bless all the sick and those that aren't doing well, those that aren't just physically sick but mentally sick, that you will be with them and protect them. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you have before you the agenda. If you'd like to add anything or take anything off, if not, we'll need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Approval of the regular meeting minutes for October 10th, 2023.
I move that we approve the regular meeting minutes from 10/10/23.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Citizens' requests and comments.
Hey, Samantha Saunders from Maiden Business Association. Just wanted to say, my voice is a little weak, but that's what goes on when it's been dry and not rain and allergies flare up. Amen. Wanted to fill you in on the movie night, which was October the 21st. We had a major hiccup. The Cook's Rental did not deliver the proper equipment. The audio came and we were ready to play the audio, but the video came and the projector was mismatched with the speakers and they didn't bring the audio cable and we did have to cancel. It was disastrous. It was just heartbreaking. Families had planned their week around this. They had planned their weekend around it and we had to cancel. So heartbreaking. Cooks did promise to reimburse us all of our money. They promised to do a redo free, and they promised that with movie in the parks, you had to buy licensing, which allows us to show this and publicize it, and they will also reimburse our next licensing, which for this movie was going to cost $530, so the next movie would be about the same thing. Most of them are $450 to $550. So thankfully they did promise to do that, but it was a disaster on October the 21st. I did get with Keaton, and the next time we schedule one, it'll be in the spring, and he said that we could use the gymnasium if it should be a rain event. That way we can say movies in the park, rain or shine. It would still be an outdoor event, but if it rains, we won't have to cancel or reschedule. Some dates for you to keep in mind: December the 14th from 5:30 to 8 is our Mary Maiden Downtown Christmas. We'll have Santa, the Grinch, Land Ariel, Rapunzel, Spider-Man. All of those characters will be available for pictures. Santa, we have a photographer planned for him. There'll be pictures taken, and people will be given a card where to download the picture of their child with Santa. The rain date for Mary Maiden Downtown Christmas would be the 18th. We've never had to use that we've never had to cancel because of rain, but should we have to, it'll be the following Monday. The next date I want to give you is our Maiden Mystery Egg, which is March the 23rd. That's typically from, I think we start around 10 and we wrap that up around 3 o'clock. That's Maiden Mystery Egg. We had spoke about Latin Night for May the 3rd. That has been canceled. May the 3rd Latin Night's been canceled. Daisy from Taco Balls would have been overbooked for that weekend, so we'll see if we can do Latin Night in 2025. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
I wanted to update council on one thing. We have announced a couple awards for employees this year. They was actually given out this morning. They will be posted, an email will be sent out this afternoon and be posted on social media later this week. Harold, McQuarrie. He spells his name a little different. Harold McQuarrie, he is the General Service Employee of the Year. He's Park and Rec Maintenance. Chris Burks was Firefighter of the Year. David Wilcock, which is the Town Mechanic, was Public Works Employee of the Year. And a new award we give this year is like an overall. Jaleel Smith, which is an investigator with the Maiden PD, was Employee of Distinction for year 2023. So they all do a great job, and we're glad to have them. So.
I have a couple comments. The last meeting, I brought up about the memorial that's over at the Legion Building and the condition of that. And Richie Fox and a team of people just sort of took that on, and it has been cleaned up and looks very nice. He trimmed all the hedges, he put up flags, and he did that pretty shortly after I mentioned it in the meeting, so I'm happy for that. I've already had a couple citizens mention to me that, you know, they were happy that it was taken care of. So that looks nice if you want to ride by and see that. I also have another comment, and I've thought long and hard about this since the last meeting. This meeting is a professional forum. This is where we come to conduct town business, and that's what this meeting is for. I think being a council member, being a staff member, having any involvement with the town requires a little bit of tough skin. And you know, it's hard sometimes for whoever is involved. However, this is not a meeting where we conduct our personal differences, where we talk about personal differences we have with other people. Those type of situations should be handled one-on-one with that person and not in this public forum. I think we have a standard that we need to set, and we need to be professionals. That's just the bottom line of it. Moving forward, if someone engages in some type of personal issue or whatever within the meeting, I'm requesting that the mayor put a halt on that, and if he's not able to do that, I will call it out. It just can't be tolerated. There's lots of eyes on us, There's lots of eyes of citizens that's on us, but there's also lots of eyes on us of people who are looking to develop in Maiden, economic development, people who are looking to live in Maiden, people who are looking to bring businesses to Maiden. They watch these council meetings online, and they see how we conduct ourselves. And we don't want to present ourselves as a mess. That's the bottom line, and that we have lots of personal issues going on. So, moving forward, you know, when you have that personal difference, whether it's with a staff member, whether it's with a council member, I don't care who it's with, conduct that outside of this meeting. This is for town business and strictly for town business, and we need to keep it at that, because if we allow other things to be brought into this meeting, it turns into just a mess. So, and I'm not saying this to step on anybody's toes, to offend anybody by any means. It's just, it is what it is. We are professionals, and we're gonna have to conduct ourselves as such.
Beth, to follow up on your comment about the plaque or the memorial,
Yes.
did anybody in the, on the staff contact the American Legion to see about moving that?
I did ask Wesley to reach out. He has some contacts, and
We did. The last contact we had was with, I believe, the state office, and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with that building. So we're following up with them.
Okay.
Wesley, were they on board with us just sort of maintaining that memorial in the interim, or did you mention that?
I don't, Alex is here. You spoke with them?
Yes, but we didn't talk about the memorial, we more talked about the person, potentially.
Okay.
so what we're looking at doing is trying to bring something back to council so that we can actually take over the property, repave it, and use it for public parking. And in exchange, maybe we can move the memorial to another location and upkeep it from now on. That's kind of what we threw out there. Don't know if they'll accept it, be interested in it or anything, but we do need more downtown parking, and I would really hate for that big of a piece of property right here close to downtown to go defunct. So we're trying to do what I think is best for all parties involved.
We'll
And
follow up.
As soon as we know, we'll let y'all know.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Good to see y'all today. I wanted to bring before y'all today the old tanker that we replaced. It's been about 6 months roughly since the new tanker was put in service. And a lot of people's asked, why haven't you sold it yet? What are you doing? Well, with all new trucks, you want to make sure everything's still good with it. It's going to run properly. You're not going to have any recalls on it. It's not going to become a lemon per se, and I hope that never happens. But that's one of the reasons we sort of held on to the old one yet. It wasn't a new shiny piece of equipment like it was in 1988, but it was still functional, or it still is functional and usable. But we've come to the time now that we really don't need the truck. We don't have nowhere to put it in a building. It's been sitting at Public Works, and now that the new truck that we have has got 6 months under it, as far as use, we're ready to sell the old tanker. So I would like to bring that before you today, and then next meeting in December, if y'all could have a decision made as far as a vote on to vote on that, to approve us to sell it, and then we'll move forward to either sell it as a single item, or it'll be in the town auction whenever that comes up at the next available date.
And historically, on an item such as this, the attorney has to give us some guidelines about it. I know at one time we donated one to a school, and another time we've sold one, so it kind of, whatever we can do with it. If memory serves, we're not gonna get very much money out of this.
No, I've got the reserve set on this at $7,000, and I think that's generous by just looking, because we get magazines and newspapers every week on used fire trucks, and I mean, they're just, unfortunately, they don't hold the value like a personal vehicle that we're trying to go to the car lot today to buy that's used. But it'll, at the end of the day, it's up to you as a council to decide whether you would like to sell it or donate it. It's completely up to you. We have had some interest as far as members of the public. I don't know where they're where they live at, but there's been quite a few, people that have stopped by and looked at it, asked about it, wanting to know when we are gonna sell it, because they are interested in purchasing it.
So unless anyone has any, objection, that will be on the next council meeting.
Any questions?
Nope, just one comment. Since
Yes,
you're up at the podium, can you give us an update on when the actual groundbreaking will begin?
I think you all should have a schedule, in front of you, and I tried looking at it yesterday whenever they finally sent it to me. From what I'm seeing, they're pretty much waiting on the stormwater structures to be delivered. In the email that I got, they, the way I took it, that they didn't know it was gonna be this much of a delay. That stuff is supposed to be completed by, I think, January 1, so with the time frame that they have given us as far as how long it's gonna take to do that stormwater structure, I would anticipate starting here within the next week. But I don't know what Thanksgiving's gonna do to them, so,
Is that a special stormwater system engineered?
to be
the-
honest
to the
with you,
height?
I'm not 100% sure.
I know there's a company in Catawba County that makes culverts.
Yeah, I
That I
don't,
think are state approved, and, you know, if it's a culvert we need, it looks like they could maybe contact somebody here in the county.
oh, I completely agree. I actually mentioned that earlier, before the meeting started, we was talking about this, but, I mean, you folks have the same schedule that I have right here on my phone. It's very hard to view on my phone, but I'm anticipating within the next week or two, but I can't guarantee that because they haven't told us for sure that, but that's what I anticipate, just by the time frames that they've given us, as far as how long it's gonna take them to do each
Well,
thing.
I know they've moved an excavator in up on the property,
Yeah.
so that's,
Right there beside our little pile of dirt.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
so maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah, and they had spoke a couple weeks ago in our last meeting where they had planned to come in and start some light demo as far as the asphalt concrete. And, they said they may do that before the stormwater stuff took effect, and get up the silt fencing, so, that's what makes me think it may be here within the next week, but still, I don't know 100%.
Are you having weekly status calls with them on this?
No, right now, we're having monthly, meetings face to face, and then they're sending email updates as they give them to us.
Once the project gets rolling, historically, once the project gets rolling, we have more contact. They're still in the process of trying to get everything on site, get everything lined up. We printed this off because I tried to put it on an iPad and you just couldn't read it. We will have an updated one of these for you every meeting.
Okay.
And, we will start including the email chains that we have. We will start forwarding them out to council once, ground gets broken, stuff gets rolling.
So Luke, just a suggestion moving forward, I mean, if they find it's still further delayed with those stormwater drains, you don't know. I know they say it'll be such and such date. If they wanna go ahead and start busting up that concrete, it's gonna make a lot of citizens feel better.
Yeah, I agree. I
mean,
think.
if they see something happening, that's gonna have to happen anyway, but if they see progress, it'll be a plus.
Yeah, I think, and don't take me 100% on this, but from what I understood, one reason they were trying to hold off as long as they could before the stormwater stuff come in was so they wasn't having to deal with all that extra runoff in the event of a heavy rain. They was like, right now, the ground is solid because that's the way it's been set, and so if we come in here and start digging, before we start that, we may cause more issues.
I understand.
But I do agree with you. You'd think that they would already be doing that, but they do this a whole lot more than I do, so they know
Yeah, it's easy to
best.
sit on the outside
It
and
is.
say.
And it's also important to know, they have a time limit. They have a date that they have to be done by. It's
420.
420 days. So, and in a project like this, even though we're paying the bills, once we sign that contract, it's their site. And the only we can ask and we can suggest, but until they get to 421, there's not a whole lot we can, we always want to be cordial and have a great relationship. Like Luke said, they're a business and they're making money and they bidded on it and there was a low bidder. We're having meetings, we're gonna keep up with as best as possible, but, on the other construction sites we've had, it's always funny, it's kinda like hurry up and wait, and then once they get started, it's like, it's there, you know what I mean? So I don't anticipate this one being any different. I know this one's highly anticipated. It's kinda like, opening those presents on Christmas morning, everybody wants to get there. But I think we'll get there and everything's gonna be okay. I just ask for everyone out there to just give us a little bit more time, be a little bit patient, and once everything gets going, I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised.
I also have a question. So if we get to day 421 and it's not completed,
There's liquidated damages involved, so much per day, and
Okay.
then stuff like that. Barring weather events, they do have X number of weather events that they are allowed to, but we haven't had any.
They've got a 103-day buffer here built in, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so as of right now, the burning ban is still in effect. And, for any council that gets asked, that's anywhere from burning leaves and branches to using a outdoor fire to cook on. A lot of times in municipalities and in burning bans, you can have a fire for heat, smoke, or religion. I mean, it's not smoke. Heat, cooking, or religion. With this burning ban, it cuts out everything. The only allowable type of cooking outside is to be done on a grill or a smoker, something that is purchased for that. Even the outdoor fireplaces, it's got the little propane tank out beside them with the fire pit, those are illegal as well. This is something that come down from the county and state level, so I don't feel that they're thinking that we've got enough rain yet to end the burn ban. So as soon as I hear further, I'll send an email out to Todd and he can disperse it to you folks, because I know y'all get asked a lot from members of the public about the burning ban. I'm sure people calling wanting to know when it's gonna be lifted, but as of this morning, it was still in effect, so.
Who
And the reasons-
monitors and patrols that? Is that fire, police, both?
So if the call comes in, fire will go out and address the issue. If the party involved is uncompliant, we call law enforcement,
Okay.
local law enforcement, whether it be Maiden Police, Catawba County Sheriff's Department. And then at that point, if they still give issues, fire marshal's office comes out, or forestry, and that's when the money takes effect.
Yeah,
They start handing out citations.
okay.
Generally speaking, it's pretty much just educational time. Most people, if you educate them on it, they're okay with putting their fire out. But there are occasions.
So if someone needs to report, they should call fire first,
Yeah, just
not
call,
PD.
just call the dispatch center,
Okay.
call 911, because there's, may not always be somebody at the fire department. They may be on another call. So I would suggest calling like you would call in for any type of call, and just let them know the information, and they'll dispatch the appropriate agency. I know we have had some people last week that called town hall, and they give us a call, and we went out and addressed the issues.
Would it be beneficial for us to put those requirements or those restrictions on social media? Because I didn't realize you couldn't use an open propane
Yeah,
fire
they,
pit.
should be on social media. It should be on the fire department's one that was sent out last week, and I think
It
Tyler
was.
sent it. Do
I mean, I don't know if it went into that much detail, but it was an announcement about the burning ban.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it went into the propane tank.
And the problem with social media is sometimes it shows up, and if you don't see it right then, your feed gets filled up and you might not see it. So
You never find it.
we'll try to push it out a few more times.
Yeah, we'll get it sent
I
out
think the
soon.
reason Sam was asking about it is, currently right now, there will not be any burning barrels at Mary Maiden.
Or we scheduled a fire pit
Yeah.
for s'mores, and they'll have to use electricity. Can we use electricity to do s'mores?
Yeah, you can use electricity, just no open burning.
Okay.
So I believe several years ago, we had a similar situation. There was a lot of people upset we didn't have burning barrels, but safety is number one concern, so.
That's right. Any other questions? Thank y'all.
And I know this has been
Thank you,
a
Rick.
long public comment, but I got one more thing. So I was just informed that Microsoft is due to break ground on spring of 2024. So looks like they're on schedule, and looks like all the permits are coming through as expected.
So I have one follow-up from the last meeting. Miranda Coulter had been here about the dust and stuff out of the villages of Maiden. You were gonna check into that.
So, there's very little that we can do legally. We have been in contact with the builders and asking them to spray more water down. At the same time, we're also in a level 1 drought with water restrictions. So, we're working on it, but we don't have a great answer, and I don't know because there's nothing legally that we can make them do. I think they're trying to be a good neighbor, but at the same token, if you're out there spreading water during a drought, they're gonna get
Yeah.
hit either way. So it's just one of those things where, there's not a good answer. And I hate saying that, but that's just kind of where it's at this point. I know that, and Brian is not here today. He's at a Electric Cities meeting. I know that he is meeting with him again.
Yeah, we're gonna be meeting with them again tomorrow.
And that is
We'll bring it up again.
Yeah, and that's when, we're hoping to have a better answer than we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, it may be, yeah, I mean, obviously I know the drought situation and the water situation and everything's dry as hell, pardon my language, because like Sam, I'm paying for it right now too, but, you know, maybe if in the way they could offer some assistance to the residents for pressure washing or cleaning or, you know, something. Extend the olive branch and really like be a good neighbor in light of not really being able to do anything right now because of the weather.
Well, on the same token with that, that's going out to GKN Drive, I believe is where that road is. It's primarily dirt. I don't know if they could put a light coat of gravel on it to help hold down the dust in there or not when traffic comes out that way.
Well,
Just a suggestion.
yeah, the road that Miranda Coulter lives on is Ant Hill Way, that's a paved drive for them down into there.
Yeah.
And their properties back up to that back part, so they're really getting a whole lot right there in that little neighborhood.
We are aware of it and we're working through it, but, right now, we're trying to get more with honey than because we don't have we're trying to get more with a carrot than a stick, because we don't have a very big stick in this situation. And I don't know, I mean, I hate saying it that way, but that's the truth. But we will, update council tomorrow afternoon after the meeting, that we're going to see what we can get done on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
Thank the fire and the police department for Halloween, keeping the kids safe.
Anyone else? Yeah, yeah.
My name's Mary Holloway Henry. I'd like to thank you all, everybody, for praying for me. When I had my open heart surgery, it's a blessing to be back in working again on it. So just thank the board and thank Todd. And by the way, Todd, did you forget to bring the sausage base and gravy?
What?
Biscuits and gravy.
You just had an open heart surgery. You don't need biscuits and gravy, Miss Mary.
Yeah, we do.
She said she was better.
I want to talk to you a little bit about, I don't know which way you're going next year, this year, for closing out year when you do the new budget. I'd like for y'all to really look at, especially the Rosamore Park. I had talked to a young man about the water still standing and it's fading out. I know you got more important things than that, but if we want to observe that park for the history of that community. And so first, it needs a little work down there, but I know he can't control, we got a lot on us in this community, and I know we can't control all of it. But I just need a closer look when you do a budget for the park next year, because it needs some work. So I know it's getting cold, you can't do nothing down there now, but I appreciate it for the community and the kids. And I'll get out of this and I'll bring the rest back to you the first part of the year. Thank
I
you.
really wish Brian was here, but I'm almost positive that's scheduled for the springtime.
Okay, so wanna make sure, but, and also our streets, and I know Brian's not here, but I'm gonna make it to the board. And it's kinda all over, when you got the pavement on the road, I see the pavement, but why do you have so many, you might already done discussed this, where the sidewalk, it drops, where the drain, it don't come up level, it's just like a drop in, and when you go across, it's a hole, you can start down here at the end where the mill's at. You got a big dip on this side, then you come out to Pine Street, you got where the sidewalk at, it's not levels with the pavement, so is it supposed to be like that?
Well, sometimes when you resurface, there's no way to avoid it other than milling down. A lot of times when they design a road, they design it so they can take a couple different repavings before they have to mill it down. That one might be at the very end of the repaving, and next time we touch it, we have to mill it down. So, and just so you know, milling down costs significantly higher than repaving, so we try to get the most we can get before we have to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
Cause I think, Brian, I think they raised the ones on South D, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Once they get to a certain level, we'll go in and raise them, but it has,
yeah, cause I think
And I don't know what
those had to
the-
be customized, I think.
yeah, they gotta be customized, and I don't know what the threshold is.
Anyone else? All right, we're gonna move along. You have before you the consent agenda item, which consists of the finance officer's report for October.
Jess is actually at a conference, a finance officers conference in Asheville today, so if there's any questions, I will attempt to answer them.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve finance officer's report for October.
I have a motion,
Second.
a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion is carried unanimous. All right, we're going into a public hearing. Consideration of the closure of Old Maiden Road.
Good morning, council. At our last meeting, council approved to have the public hearing today for the consideration of the closure of Old Maiden Road. Microsoft has submitted for that road to be closed. That is going to be the primary entrance to the Microsoft project off the north side of that curve there. And since there's no other development on Old Maiden Road, they requested for the road to be closed. And they own all the property surrounding Old Maiden Road, all the way out to Zeb Haynes Road. It's been submitted to NCDOT. They did not have any comments to send back to us on that closure. So at this point, and we've not received any negative comments on the closure of this as far as staff goes. Any questions?
I do know that there's been a question about, we do sell bulk water. There's some trucks that go down there. I do know that, Brian Walker, our water supervisor, has picked out a couple different other locations that they can do that, and it would not affect the sale of bulk water or the sale, or the ability for the tankers to get to it.
When we close that, if we vote to close that road, are we gonna actually close it to traffic with dirt or tear up concrete or?
To be honest with you, we'll probably just leave it as is and turn it over to Microsoft, and it'll be just like our driveway at that point, and they can do what with it they want. That way it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything.
I didn't know if we was gonna just take a dirt.
Sometimes we do that, depending on the situation, but in this situation, we're just gonna turn it over to them. We're gonna maintain a easement for the water. Other than that, it's theirs, and they can do with it what they wish. The only thing it would cost us is we'll take that small portion off of the power bill map. But you're probably talking less than $5 a year, to be honest with you. I haven't ran the numbers, but that's shooting from the hip.
Will that road right away convert back over to Microsoft property?
Yeah, it closes toward the middle and it goes to either property on either side, which in this case is all gonna be Microsoft.
motion?
No, just, if you've got any more questions, we gotta come out of the,
Okay.
before I close the public hearing. Any more questions from anyone? Public hearing is now closed. New business, dog park discussion.
Good morning. So last meeting, it was brought up, just to kind of see what the numbers would be on a dog park. Before you, you have a, opinion of probable cost, from CBSA. And, really what we need from here, staff just kind of needs direction of what council would like to do.
What do we need to do?
So this would be, what I'm asking is, we need direction of, do we put this in the CIP? Is council wanting this to be moved, to a, project budget or next budget year?
Basically, we just need to know, A, do you wanna move forward, and B, when do you wanna move forward with it? We just need some direction.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, correct, Wesley?
Yes.
I make a motion that we proceed forward with the dog park immediately.
Have a motion? Got a second?
Alright, so before you vote on it, if y'all do that, if you do it this way, we will come back next council meeting with a budget ordinance for the project. Because we do not have this in the operating budget this year, it will come out of general fund and go into a project budget ordinance. So if you vote on it tonight, I don't want you to expect we're going out in order and chain tomorrow. We still gotta get funding first.
So before we go in and vote, so what is this gonna cost? Cause I got 3 different project costs here. Is that inflation for the next years?
Yes, so what they're projecting is if you do it in 2023, the total cost will be around 246,000. Inflation, 10% per year on material and labor, so that's what they're projecting. So 2024, it would cost 283, that's what they're estimated. If you waited to 2025, it would, for the same project, it would be 326.
And where is the $250,000 to $300,000 for this project? Where is that money at?
It would come out of the unassigned fund balance,
Which is,
basically our savings account.
which is sitting at what right now?
I knew you was gonna ask that. I wanna say, I don't wanna, it's over.
Ballpark.
2.3, 2.5 million, just for general fund. Now, all in, you're probably talking closer to 5, but some of that's assigned, so.
Sure.
So, and I do not have those numbers in front of me.
That's okay, I just wanted to,
As long as you don't hold me to that.
no, I just wanted a
ball.
ballpark.
It's probably, and I know
Well,
that sounds bad.
I don't want a ballpark. I want it on this meeting for the people that are watching
Yeah.
that can't see that this is anywhere from $246,000 to $326,000. So I think that's important when we're talking about things like these, since these meetings are recorded,
Yes.
that we give verbally what we're talking about here, because people that can't make these meetings and watch them are going, well, how much is that? What are y'all talking about? So,
And I will have the exact number at the next meeting before you vote on the project budget.
so right now, this is a yay or nay vote of, do we want to do this sometime in the next budget year? Is that correct? Is that the motion?
So the motion was to go immediately,
Immediately what?
start whatever we
Building?
gotta do to, building it, yes.
They're building 2024.
Well, if we can break ground next month, I'll go along with that.
Wow, okay.
I mean, our budget year starts in July of 2024, so we got 7 months ahead of us right now. I can't see putting it off any longer because this has been an issue for 5 years or 6.
Well, I don't know that I would call it an issue. I think it's been a want. That there's a difference in issues and what you want. And
Okay,
this is
I'll accept that.
yeah. I don't want this to sound like we've got dogs running wild and we gotta have somewhere to put them, because that's not the case.
and I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but along with the budget in the next couple months, we'd also have to bring back some policies to address several things which Keaton is working on, and I guess once you get them done, you need to forward them to Wesley so he can review them before we bring them to council.
You're talking about policies around how this will be managed, the dog
Yeah,
park?
like what's required, if there's a charge, what kind of shots the dog has to produce to be able to go in, stuff like that.
Thank you, because that's where I'm going. I'm like, immediately, I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. I want to make sure we've got all of our ducks in a row before we just start throwing
Well, I
stuff
think-
up and make things an afterthought
Yeah.
like that.
And I think realistically, if you vote on it in December, I mean, the way it's taken, the length of time it's taken to get material, I mean, Brian's not here, the fence, we ordered that, to fix the fence that was up there when we tore the building down. We ordered that, 14 months ago, and it just got put up or
Yeah,
something like
so
that?
if you look at the photo where the water treatment plant was, there was no fencing there. To put back a fence there, I wanna say it took us 6 months
6 months, okay.
to get that in.
So-
And I mean, things are getting better all the time, but this is gonna take some time.
The thing that's gonna take the longest is the restrooms. That's gonna,
And
I mean, it may be a year and a half. If we had money today, it may take a year to year and a half before we're willing to open it up. Because, I mean, it's just not like it used to be. You know, you just can't go and call a vendor up and get prices and 2 months later be putting it in. We still are waiting, and I think we're almost done for the restrooms at the training yard for the lineman school, correct, Blake?
Yeah, we've got a lot of that information.
Yeah. And I know that's going on 2 years.
Well, if-
Now, that was coming out of COVID and everything got backed up. I don't think it'd take that long for this, but it is gonna take some time.
If restrooms are that big of an issue, on the next meeting, I would like to see proposals for restrooms at Rosenwald Park and Union Street Park then as well, because those folks have been asking for restrooms for 2 years.
Okay.
So if we're that far backed up and we're gonna put a restroom on a dog park, I wanna make sure that the kids have a restroom as well.
Keaton, I got a question. Didn't we go ahead, the tree part, aren't we moving forward with that now?
We're working, to get a grant
Yeah, I think it
with
was
the urban
something.
forestry. That will be first of the year, regardless of whether we get it or not, that will be first of the year action, to get trees planted.
Yeah, I thought we were moving forward with that.
Mhm.
Okay. So either way, that's gonna happen.
Either way, that's gonna happen, we're hoping to get that urban forestry grant.
So with this cost, so that's not figured in with this, right?
No, that's a separate.
Okay.
So this used to be a water treatment plant. Anything to convert it back to where it used to be will come out of water budget. So the trees, if we don't get the grant, will come out of the water and sewer fund. The dog park is a general fund item, so it would come out of general fund. So the two, while most people see them going together, they're funded two totally different aspects.
So, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm against this, but I just want some due diligence put into keeping this cost where it should be.
Yes. So some of the things we're doing to do that is we're using the existing fence, which don't look the greatest, but it will save us a ton of money. We're only looking at paving the 2 handicap spaces that we have to pave. The rest of it will be gravel. We're looking at putting up a fence that people can buzz themselves in and out of, so we don't have to staff it. We're looking at policies so that the park's only open during the daytime, so we don't have to light it. We're trying to do as many things as we can to keep the cost down, but still have it being a nice operational park if council so chooses to move forward.
So we have decided we're not going to staff it?
That is the policies that we're looking at to bring before, council's gotta vote on all of it.
Right. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure of. So, yeah, I mean, when we're getting bids and quotes on this, I wanna see multiples, not onesie twosies. I mean, if we're gonna go out and put bids on this, instead of just posting on a website, go get bids. I mean, it's a lot of money for fencing and grading, so, you know, we gotta be better stewards of our money going forward, so.
We'll probably do a lot of this ourselves, won't we?
There's the fencing, I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about a couple, you're talking about a gate, you're talking about a little bit of fence work, you're talking about a bathroom, you're talking about, some gravel. There's not a whole lot of grading that's gonna be done, it's just gonna be left as the natural topo, cause, I mean, dogs gonna run around. So, the stuff we can do in-house, we will, but most of it's gonna be just, I don't see us going out and getting a general contractor to do this project. I don't think it raises to that level. I think at the end of the day, Keaton's gonna be the project manager, and he's gonna get bids on each item individually and then put it together.
And just one final question, what is demolition? What are we demolishing there?
There's still a pad.
Okay,
The parking lot that was there is still
it's the parking lot. Everything for the actual building is gone though, right?
A foot above ground, or,
So everything else that you see, there's two, circular reservoirs, the actual building structure itself, and then there's like a, holding tank at the bottom. Those are all at least 3 feet under grade.
Okay,
So the demolition that's still there, you can't see it in this photo because it's covered up with the projected parking lot. That parking lot still exists.
okay,
and it has to be demoed so we can run water and sewer lines and power lines.
okay,
Not all of it, but most of it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Anybody else got any questions for us? Huh?
I had Ronnie Williams as the motion and
Bob was seconding.
Second.
So all in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Motion's carried unanimous. Ordinance and resolution, resolution 8-2024, resolution to order to close a street and right-of-way in the town of Maiden.
I'll move that we accept resolution 8-2024, a resolution in order to close a street and right-of-way in the town of Maiden.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion is carried unanimous. Now we need a motion for adjournment. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn. Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. We are adjourned.